Hi, welcome back to the workshop. Just for a quick short video today, I'm going to talk briefly about Fiddle Sticks, about the fiddle stick design on this particular cameo, which might give you an idea for projects of your own, and some of the operational aspects of this stick, and the fact that just by using a fiddle stick like this, you can actually create quite an intensive operation over a small layout. So those of you who've already watched the Festiniog Boston Lodge video will have seen this fiddle stick in operation already, but I thought for those who aren't perhaps interested in 009, this gives you a sort of quick dive into how this fiddle stick operates. It's a little bit more, well, complex is the wrong word really, because it's not complicated, but it allows more operation than just obviously a plain piece of track. So what we've got here is you can see on the end of the layout there's a slot here. So the base of the layout's made of two sections of MDF, in this case 6mm. I find that works well for the presentation in the cameo box. And you'll note that the bottom layer is inset. That gives us a shadow gap, so when it's mounted on the shelf it appears to be floating. So all these things are deliberate little touches that you perhaps wouldn't think of, but when you build these as often as I do, where the ideas start to evolve, and I think that works really nicely. And you can see that then gives us the opportunity to have a tongue on the fiddle stick here, which locates us in here, but also as the weight of the fiddle stick pushes down, that wants to lift up, so the layout's weight holds the fiddle stick down in place. And although here I'm going to demonstrate it with just a very short overlap, I'd recommend at least half. If you're not going to support the far end of the fiddle stick, you're going to need at least half the length of the fiddle stick to support it. So you know, that's worth bearing in mind. So in this case, we've got track power provided from the main scene through this plug and socket, which then feeds into the track here. That's fed underneath. So if we turn this upside down, you'll see the fiddle stick's made out of the same two pieces of wood, or same thicknesses of wood, as the main layout gives it the same height, and that gives us the space to run the wiring down the edges. Okay, so the toggle switches at the back control some isolating sections down the end. So let me just put this in place and I'll explain how it works. So it's as simple as that. When it's on a shelf, of course, the tongue aligns you roughly, and then you can align these by eye. Okay, so imagine you've got one of these at each end. Your train exits the scene, runs into one of the sidings. Each siding is just isolated because the turnout provides power to the siding. But then what I've also done is I've got a toggle switch, as I said, that controls the last sort of locomotive length of that siding, and that means that we can run a locomotive with a train in, isolate that train, and then bring another locomotive from, in this case, is an engine shed, so or from a stabling yard, bring that out onto this end, and then tow the train right back through the layout, through the scenic section, to another fiddle stick the other end, and repeat. And so although what appears to be quite a straightforward and perhaps dull operation, adds a real depth, especially if you like operating locomotives. So if you've got a stabling point or something like that, this might really help you. And so of course, to make that concept work, where the locomotive can pull in, be isolated, and another locomotive come in and take the train away, we need to be able to disconnect the locomotive easily from its coaching stock. So this is an example for 009. I'll just briefly mention a few other ideas for other systems later, but so in this case, this uncoupling ramp is made out of a section of packaging material. It's just a clear acetate, and for those who want to replicate it, it's 1 centimetre, well, 10mm, 14mm, 10mm, and that gives you the ramp size. It's 5mm wide. And so what obviously happens is you've got your locomotive on here, and as the train is pulled over the ramp, you can see the coupling loop lift. If you're using pico couplings, this works. And then that means the locomotive will carry on and the train will stay here. Yeah, so that then means that something else can come in from the behind and pull the train out without it being coupled to the locomotive. So I'll show you because I've got two coaches on here. So if we go over like that and then pull back, yeah. So that works really neatly, and obviously in 009 with the pico couplings, it works a treat. If you're looking at other scales, if I was using N gauge in this and I was using DG couplings, the ones I've demonstrated in a previous video, you could use a magnet. So the permanent magnet within the sleepers would do the same thing. If you're using KDs in 00 gauge, that would give you the same experience. Even in double O, if you're using tension locks, because of the tail that drops down, you can use a ramp just like this. You'll just need to size that to your own dimensions. I'd recommend making your own ramps over buying anything, because you can tailor them to be the size you need them. They're dead straightforward to make. Say packaging, a bit of clear acetate from packaging. You know, I used a blade here to score the plastic very lightly before bending it over a metal edge, but you know, you don't probably even need that. You could probably just do it with, mark it up with a pen, cut it with scissors. So there you go. I hope that was interesting. I hope it makes you think about how you can use a fiddle stick and a cameo layout to add some operation to something that otherwise you might consider just to be a scenic item. I really enjoy these sorts of layouts and these projects and thinking through this. So if you'd like me to work with you, I'd love to bring your dreams to life, help you tell your own story. So do get in touch. As I say, hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and see you all again soon.